Lewiston Tribune. This is for both Fred and Nolan. Kind of the same question about Nick Stevens. And could you just kind of talk about how he's handled, must have been a roller coaster of a season individually for him, and kind of came out on the right side of it?
Nick started out rough against Colorado, and then Colin came in, but he handled the situation like he was a starter the whole time. Didn't get down or anything like that, just kept preparing like Coach was saying earlier. We knew he could play last year. He started for us all year, and then this year it ended up coming back to him, and it was his spot. So, I don't think we skipped a beat as an offense at all. We have all the confidence in him and just trying to give him enough time back there to do his thing.
Yeah, I feel he handled the situation in the best way possible. In the situation he could, it'd be tough for anybody to lose a job, especially a high-profile job as a quarterback, and be benched and then be asked to come back and play again. And like Fred said, he continued to prepare like he was a starter the entire time, and he played that way when he returned. Like he said, he went down, Colin went down in the Utah State game, and he ended up coming in, Nick, and leading us back in order to win the game. So Nick is just a testament to who he is as a man and what he's able to do, given his circumstances, and not to get too down on himself and continue to prepare like it's his team the way he has. And the success is all deserved for him because of the way he's been able to prepare and work.
Matt Stevens from the Fort Collins Club. Mike, a couple of players entered the season with a lot of expectations surrounding they'll be playing their last game. I'm thinking of Fatone Balta and Jordan Baton, two guys who on the field didn't translate to the results you're wanting. From your perspective, how difficult has this season been for those two guys?
Well, you'd have to ask them, what their feeling is on the season. But to me, I think both of them were integral parts to our success. Fatone did not have the stats or maybe the end of his career that he envisioned when he came here. But like I tell all those guys sometimes is, we've got this picture, this storybook that we've written out for ourselves, and it always doesn't happen that way, and sometimes you have adversity or you fail. That's okay. That's how you grow. Fatone came out here, and I thought he brought a work ethic to the quarterback room. I thought he brought competition to the room. I thought he was able to help Colin Hill learn how to prepare and study, and that's only going to pay big dividends down the road. Nick Stevens is a better player this year, in my opinion, because of having to compete and having to go through adversity and knowing what he wanted to fight for. And I think turned him into a better quarterback, and he's playing at an extremely high level. Like I've told you guys before, higher level than a lot of quarterbacks that I've coached. Jordan Vaden, we made a decision to move him to defense. We needed depth there. We created depth. I told Coach English the other day, I thought Jordan Vaden and Kevin Nutt were competing as hard as any two guys we had the last 3 or 4 practices. So that tells me that he's in it. Things don't always go the way we want, whether it's 8 interceptions or we throw 20 touchdowns, but no, there's going to be adversity. But I'm glad those two guys are on our football team and part of this program.
Mike Breuer, this is for you, Kevin. Your defense down the stretch, you face some very run-oriented offenses. Do you have to change up a little bit? How big is a change up, I guess, going against a team that's pretty adept in the passing game?
I don't think it's too much of a difference. We've somewhat faced that offense this year. The formations, they're very common to what we've played against this year. So I don't think there's much of a change. Maybe a little bit more pass than usual, but we're ready to go.
Mike, Josh Wright from Spokesman Review of Spokane, Washington. Just talk a little bit about how much you've encountered Coach Petrino in the past with him in the SEC as well, familiar with his system offensively, and then just what stands out about the Vandals that jumps out on tape to you?
Well, first time I got to meet Coach was last night. We had a dinner, but definitely knew of Coach when he was at, as Arkansas as an assistant, and Arkansas was a team that was always very innovative to me in their offense, because they used tight ends. They, whether it was 2-back or 1-back, they had a tight end attached most of the time, and that's something that I like to do offensively, to have the tight inside run game and some play action. And then, like everybody, they get in some spread stuff. He's probably a little more spread than he was back in the days at Arkansas, but always found ways to move the ball, not just through the air. When you watch teams, to me, you watch them play offensive football in a run game. Are they able to actually scheme you up and know that a blitz is coming here? And those style offenses did. You know, they always did not have a lot of wasted plays offensively. They knew how to get the run into the right look. So that was always, pretty impressive to me. Their team offensively is a little bit different, as Kevin just talked about. As far as what we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks, but it's pretty similar to what we do out of our 11 personnel in some of the formations. So, our defense has gone against that personnel in some of those schemes all year. Spring practice, fall camp. We always do a lot of good on good, so there will be a lot of carryover there. Their quarterback is a heady player that gets them in the right place, gets the ball to the playmakers, so they pose a threat. Defensively, they've been opportunistic. They're 4 down, a 3 down front, and their 8 victories, I believe they're plus 12 in turnover ratio, and that's been the keys to their victories. And they do that because they create confusion. They jump from a 4 down front to a 3 down front, and sometimes there's some miscommunication up front or with the quarterback, which causes lost yardage plays or causes balls to be thrown into coverage. We're going to have to do a good job. Like any bowl game, you got to expect the unexpected when somebody has time to work on it and prepare for you. It's going to be a rules game. Defensively, we got rules for formations and gap control and coverage rules, and we got to know our rules. We got to do our job and play hard. Offensively, it's going to be the same thing. Identifying, who the guys are that we're going to block and what routes we're going to run versus certain coverages, and go play.
Any other questions for Colorado State?